50 years ago this October, Blessed John the 23rd and thousands of bishops and heads of religious orders from around the world gathered here in St. Peter's Basilica for the opening session of the Second Vatican Council. Over the years, Vatican II would transform many of the ways in which the Catholic Church understands and presents itself in modern secular society. I'm Frank Rocca.
And I'm Carol Glatz. Vatican II's golden anniversary will offer the occasion for a whole slate of commemorative events, including liturgical celebrations, publications, and academic conferences. This week, a Vatican II exhibition opened at Rome's Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls. The show includes original handwritten pages from Pope John's speech at the Council's opening session and a Vatican passport issued at the time to a young Polish bishop named Karol Wojtyla, the future Pope John Paul II.
Vatican II was one of the monumental events in modern religious history, but it is still very much alive in the Church today. Scholars still debate to what extent the Council's achievements in such areas as interfaith dialogue and liturgical reform were organic developments in the Church's history or radical breaks with the past.
Pope Benedict XVI himself has rejected what he calls the hermeneutics of discontinuity and rupture in our present-day understanding of Vatican II. He calls instead for interpreting the Council as an instance of renewal in continuity with the Church's 2,000 years of tradition. Exploring and promoting that idea will be a major goal of the Year of Faith that begins this October 11th, exactly half a century to the day since Vatican II opened.
A relatively small but highly vocal number of Catholics still reject the Council altogether, charging, among other things, that subsequent changes to worship have undermined the solemnity of the Mass and that a growing openness to other religions conflicts with the need to proclaim salvation through Jesus Christ alone. The most prominent such group, the Society of St. Pius X, effectively broke with Rome in 1988 when its founder, the late French Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, ordained 4 bishops without approval from the Pope.
Pope Benedict has made reconciliation with the Traditionalist Society a priority of his pontificate. He lifted restrictions on the traditional Latin Mass, now called the Extraordinary Form, in 2007. And less than 2 years later, he removed the excommunications on the illicitly ordained bishops. And last fall, the Vatican even held out the possibility of making the group a personal prelature if a full reconciliation was reached. A prelature is somewhat like a global diocese, a status currently held only by Opus Dei.
As a condition of reconciliation, though, the Vatican has asked the Society to give its assent to a summary of certain non-negotiable doctrines. These have not yet been published, but they presumably include the major teachings of Vatican II. No doubt Pope Benedict would regard an agreement with the group as an ideal way to celebrate this year's anniversary and the upcoming Year of Faith. I'm Frank Rocca.
And I'm Carol Glatz, Catholic News Service.